and welcome to the Indian Tech Icon Spotlight, a platform that recognizes excellence, vision, and impact in the tech world. I am your host today, Sheetal Acharya, and joining us today is Mr. Samir Narang, who is a pioneer in the world of tech transformations. And he carries a rich legacy of over 30 years in tech industry. He has led digital transformations across various industries, and he has led his teams to success. Hi, Samir. Welcome to our show, and it's truly an honor to host you today.
Hi, Sheetal. I'm humbled. Thank you so much.
Samir, how are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, excited about this interview and excited to sort of have an interaction with you on the past 30 years of how I've kind of performed my roles and added value to business through technology.
Awesome. So let's get a little bit into your current role, what roles and responsibilities you're currently managing.
Yeah, I'm in the IT function for my business, and the role that I have is around developing products, which is similar to projects, but now a different way of looking at a solution that a business wants through Agile and through Scrum. And this, I think, methodology is definitely far more appealing to the business because it gives close proximity and direct involvement of the business in the solution development. And that's what I'm doing right now with my teams.
That sounds very exciting. So Agile, when we talk about Agile, so I'm sure it's a lot of pressure because I've seen Agile projects, how they work. So how do you manage that, between your team and the work pressure and constantly delivering on time with quality? How do you ensure that?
Yeah, I think the methodology is different from the traditional way that IT has built solutions, which has been waterfall. And while the methodology is different, I think the key differentiator is the mindset. The mindset is to say, okay, I want to partner with the business, giving me requirements, and have whether it's 2 or 3 week cycles where I closely work with the business and show them what the product is looking like. So it's kind of getting more timely feedback and course correcting as well as showing flexibility to the business, not sort of having a blame game saying, this is what you wanted, this is what I built, now take it or leave it. It's more of every 2 weeks, let's meet, let's join hands and co-develop the solution, as well as make sure the business has a direct role and ownership in prioritizing the requirements as we are continuing to develop them. So half the battle gets won with the business closely partnering with us. And obviously the pressure is there to make sure that this is an effective model. There are priorities distracting all of us every day, and the business has its own priorities. And that's always a challenge to make sure that their skin is in the game in however we develop the solution.
Perfect. That's a valuable insight.
Thanks.
Now let's go back a little bit, starting from your career progression. Like, what was your first job like? How you started, and that career progression till your current role.
Yeah, so I finished my bachelor's in electronics engineering from Mumbai University, and my first job was a developer. So it's, antiquated, and that'll tell how old I am. But my first job was on the mainframe side, developing or rather customizing. And it's ironic, it was the Canadian Railway software that Indian Railways had bought for freight operations, and we were customizing that software for Indian Railways. So that was my first job for about 2 years. Then I did my MBA and got out of IT into banking. So I was with Citibank for about 3 to 4 years before joining GE back in IT. So I kind of diverted into finance and banking operations. And each of them, I think, were lessons learned that, were more of, I would say, kind of subconscious learning. It wasn't that I was taking notes after every job and saying, what have I done? Because at that time, you just kind of go with the flow. But I think it's been really nice to see the business side of operations, to run that, as well as how technology can help and streamline. And that's why I think through my 12 years in GE, General Electric, I think there's been doctrined into efficiency, process rigor, and adding value to the business. Which has sort of been the last few years with retail. I've worked in Target, I've worked in Sports Authority in the US, as well as retailers in UAE, in Dubai. And I think that helped me shape and understand and as well as appreciate the customer-centric mindset that we all have to adopt in IT. Being directly responsible for customer experience, along with process adherence and process rigor, I think has been a very potent combination that has helped me throughout.
That's again a very wonderful insight, and I love the idea of retrospecting after every job,
Sure.
Learning for ourselves what it's all about.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's important, even if it's later on in life, to always reflect and say, what was it that I learned from here? And, kind of learn as well as then adopt and be flexible to whatever learnings you might have. Because, there are always good things in a job and bad things. Sometimes even with your own leader, there are good things you learn, and there are certain things you learn that you don't want to do. And, I think we're all in this journey of learning as long as we are in a corporate career, and that's important.
Definitely. Yeah, and talking about your all this rich career of 30 years, in diverse regions, diverse industries, what core philosophical values that you still carry with yourself?
I think the big one is really resiliency, right? Nothing is certain, and we are seeing that, right? Whether it's the macroeconomic factors, whether it is just the technology landscape, change is the only constant. And how do you react to change? Do you see it as an opportunity, or do you see it as a threat? And I think being resilient to change, not reacting it or withdrawing and sort of seeing it as a threat, but really seeing it as an opportunity to take it forward, leveraging technology, leveraging whatever help you get. It may be mentorship through people. It may be some process changes that you can bring into the organization. Maybe technology tools like Gen AI. I think all of that is always good to take you forward. So resiliency, I think, has been important. Adaptability has been important. As I said, customer centricity is really changes how you look at things, because now you're not looking at your role as a process doer, but more of the end-to-end or wing-to-wing experience of multiple processes. And how does that sort of, what needs to change in that? So I think those are three core philosophies that I always try to imbibe in any role I take up.
That's a great perspective. And yeah, being agile and being adaptable is, I think, what the tech world needs today.
Yeah, sure.
Keeping ourselves upgraded and, upgrading the teams as well. So, Samir, could you share a bit about your journey to Canada? When did you move to Canada? And, how are you feeling in Calgary, specifically in terms of the tech landscape? What are the challenges do you see, and what are the opportunities you see in Calgary?
So we've been in Calgary or in Canada for about 6 years now. So it started with our son entering university in British Columbia. And I think when we came here to drop him, we were in Dubai. We started to understand that there were opportunities to relocate, and Canada was very welcoming to immigration. So that's how I think we started the process. And then I was fortunate to get an opening here in Calgary. In hindsight, I think compared to Vancouver, we like the city. It's kind of nice and bright and sunny, and the seasons are truly something you can enjoy very, very differently. So it does give a break. As far as tech landscape is concerned, I think Calgary is seen and branded as a oil and gas town, right? It's clearly very, very dominant in one industry. And I think that industry is very important. It's actually the backbone of the entire country, to be honest. But I think Canada and Calgary in general has the advantage of lower cost as compared to US to draw talent, or to, kind of source talent through immigrants, and then provide it not just to Canada, but to the US. So suddenly your economy, which is, let's say 40 million, grows up to 340 or 400 million. And that's a quantum leap. So Calgary as a city is actually good. The cost of living is pretty decent compared to Vancouver and Toronto. And if we tap into the right reasons for people to come to Calgary, I think there's huge potential here. There's always this phobia of it being extremely cold. In fact, I was in a conference last week, and a lot of people asked me, how do you even survive there? And I said, it's actually not that bad. Let's say Texas has 2 weeks of extreme summer, we get 2 weeks of extreme winter, but the rest of it is okay. So as a city, I think it attracts a lot for people outdoor and indoor. And I think there's a huge cost equation wise, I think there's a huge ROI of being here and tapping into the tech talent here, not just for oil and gas, but I think across all industries, including the US, makes it a very potent place to be.
Yeah, that's a wonderful take on the city. And I also personally love Calgary. So it's a beautiful place. And we definitely are seeing the market growing here for tech as well.
Yeah.
Let's talk about since we are talking about the technology in Calgary and the tech side, what's your say on the AI and ML these days? And how do you see industries changing because of the AI?
I think it's AI, ML, as well as Gen AI now. And then, from Gen AI, which was initially, so let's take it in steps, right? So AI is basically having a machine bring in some intelligence to your data, right? So mining it. And then you had machine learning, which is learning from that data to predict, to help you, right, with decision making. And then I think as you get Gen AI into it, it's kind of generating some content that is machine learned or it is intelligent for you to take action on. The next phase of this is actually agentic AI. Now, agentic AI is not just helping you take action, but replacing people and actually taking some actions. So slowly what you're seeing is it is in many ways, even though it's a machine, it's really becoming your assistant or now becoming a colleague of yours, taking certain actions that you would have otherwise taken manually. And I think that the pace of that change is so immense that one has to get onto this bus quickly, because right from agentic, you will get multimodal AI. So there's AI itself is evoluting. And I think through this evolution, we all have to see, again, back to change being an opportunity or a threat. This is an opportunity for you to now actually be able to do more with less. Right, in terms of course, you have the 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day or 12 hours a day. Frankly, it's becoming 10 to 12 now. You kind of now have somebody to help you with certain activities that you would have done manually. And therefore, your capacity has grown, right, with the same number of supply that you had. So from that angle, I think that's going to be a boom. What we have to be careful about is using it wisely. And we still will need people to make sure that whatever it's doing, whether it's a recommendation or an action, is indeed correct. It's not, because in the end, it's garbage in, garbage out, right? It's taking in data. And if your data is inaccurate or the algorithm is flawed or it's been hacked into, it can be catastrophic. So I think it's important that we all look at it as an assistant or a partner, but still oversee it. And that's where the profile of people and technology will change. From being coders, we actually will need management of code and sort of ownership of somebody else's actions as the profile of talent in future.
Now we have Sarika with us and we'll have a quick conversation with her now. Hi Sarika, welcome to our show and thank you so much for taking time out and joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Wonderful to meet you as well.
Thanks, Sarika. So let's, we would love to hear from you, like how you met Samir first, and was it a love marriage or an arranged one?
It was semi-arranged because we met through common family friends who introduced us. I frankly wasn't ready for marriage then, but got to meet Samir, and our parents are very comfortable with us getting to know each other before we take that decision. So that helped.
And then I did my magic and convinced her.
Absolutely. So, yeah, it seems like eons ago, but it's been a beautiful journey.
And you both come from the tech world.
We do. So, Samirs, of course, has vast experience across different companies and continents. I have been working and taking breaks to be with the kids as and when required. And we have traveled a lot. So that's also been a reason for me to just be there with Samir and support him as much as I can.
For sure, yeah. And if I may ask you, if you have to describe Samir in few words, being as a husband or as a professional, how would you describe him?
What people don't know about Samir is probably that he's actually a really calm person inside. He believes a lot in family values, and then he has a calmness around him that he brings in any environment. And that I think is due to the meditation that he enjoys doing and spending time. So otherwise, I think everybody, all my friends and family dote over him, and I don't blame them because he's so easy to get along with.
For sure. Thank you. And that's beautifully explained, Sarika. Now, if I may ask, right, after like busy or hectic schedule over the week, how do you unwind during the weekend? Are there any family rituals that you follow or you go to some places?
Yeah, so I think what we do is collectively as a family watch some shows that all of us like watching. And I think COVID has helped cement that as a ritual, literally, as you said. So we all spend time, whether it's board games or whether it's some TV shows, to just have a common theme where we can all interact and socialize, as well as, watch something which is relaxing for all of us.
That's
I don't know whether
awesome.
you have anything else.
Yeah, and Samir likes to go out on small treks. And we do little picnics outside whenever the weather permits here, and carry our little cup of tea in a thermos and sandwiches and spend time together. And since we've traveled a lot and moved across a lot of countries and continents, as a family, we are exceptionally close. So we don't seek outside interaction as much and are just happy amongst ourselves. That
Love
helps.
that bond. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I talk about the family vacation, any vacation from your past which you would like to share, which or a place where you would again like to visit?
I think most of our family vacations actually are centered around India because we've been away for so long. So we like to go back home and spend time with family.
Yeah.
So that's been the main focus, and as well for the kids because they've had the interaction with their grandparents and extended family. And in spite of being away from India, have a close connection to there. And we try and take small trips in between as well. And having traveled to so many different countries and lived there, I think we've had the privilege of visiting a lot of places.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And it's always lovely to kind of stay connected with your roots.
I think going back to Delhi becomes natural because that's the time we also get with my parents and kind of my sister. So that's good family bonding time once again, and again reinforcement of some of the values from them.
Awesome. And how about your kids? Do they enjoy going to India?
Oh, absolutely. They get pampered,
I can
get all
relate
their wish lists fulfilled. And they do have a close bond with their cousins, even though they've been away, and with the grandparents who visit us as well regularly. So they enjoy being there, even though they don't have any friends there. But they spend time with family, which they do really enjoy.
Lovely.